Hi, welcome back to another TerranScapes video. Today I have sort of a bad news video, bad news for me. This pile of foam that you see here is the remnants of my first attempt at building the outside of the castle wall for the large castle project that's supposed to be for the evil forces of Lord of the Rings. If you go back in the video selection, you'll see there's a video that discusses one of the buttes that I was making, not buttes, I'm sorry, buttresses that go up against the side of the wall, and I was discussing some of the preliminary ideas there. So basically, after spending an entire day of cutting foam and trying to shape the outside wall, catastrophe struck and a whole new plan needs to be put in place. So what I'm going to do is walk you through a little bit about what I was trying to do, why it failed, and how I'm going to move forward for the project in the future. So I'm going to have to be kind of far away from these pieces here because they're so large to fit them in the frame here. So first what I did is I mapped out and carved what would be the upper walkway of the deck of the outer wall. So this is the walkway that will span the entire outside of the outer wall, and then what I did is once I cut that out of the foam, I proceeded to cut the inner floor, which actually sits sort of, whoops, wait a minute here. Let's see if I can do this. So it would be sort of sitting below the outside wall, if you can get a sense of that. And then, since I'd already cut that out, I just cut what would have been the inside upper wall walkway that kind of recesses in the back of the entire piece. So I did that. These were all freehand cut with the scroll saw, with the hot wire foam scroll table, and actually that went a lot smoother than I expected. A little bit of sanding here, you can see it wasn't a perfect edge, but that's fine. It's all going to get cleaned up at the end. But overall, I really liked doing this cut on the hot wire table, so I felt like, okay, stage one done. Then, what I did, let's get this out of the way here, is then I wanted to build the outside wall. And so what I did is I cut the entire piece. I'll explain why it looks like this in a second. So I cut the entire piece and, did sort of where the crenellations would go. I thought I might trim the top of this off. Then I could put either, cuts within this or add-on pieces, to dress it up. But I wasn't going to worry too much about that at this point because I needed to make sure I could get it attached to the wall. Then I saw on the Hot Wire Foam Factory's site, they have a page with a project where somebody built Helm's Deep, and it's a curved outer wall. And what that person had done is score the foam, all right, so that it would allow it to flex more easily. So one of the things that happens is when you try to bend the foam, what you're doing is you're compressing. Let's see if I do it like this. Here we go. All right, when you flex it like this, you're compressing the foam on the underside. So scoring it gives it room to compress on the inside, which allows a little less pressure on the outside of the wall so it wouldn't break. I did some test cuts with it. I did a small piece, I scored it, I compared its flexing to a normal piece, and it seemed like it was going to be okay. I thought I had it all set. So I took my time, scored the whole length, then I started to flex it around the wall, and I felt a lot of pressure and realized maybe I hadn't scored it deep enough. I don't think it was just going to barely make the wraparound, because what I'm trying to do, for those who may be more spatially challenged than myself, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bend this around the outside, so see that curvature. I was barely able to get it to bend to fit this, but the pressure on that was enormous, and I was like, wow, if I have to glue that or clamp that, I don't like that at all. So I decided to go back in and I rescored the lines deeper so that I could hopefully get it a little bit of a better flex. And then as soon as I was bending it, oh, I can hear it right now, it's so thin where the score lines are that it just popped. Yeah. So, So after I sat down for about 40 minutes and realized that whole plan is shot, I decided to come up with a new plan for the project. So here was the original plan. just to review that again and show what I was trying to accomplish. Right, so here's the outer wall, here's the walkway that I was just showing, the inside floor that's recessed in the interior, and then the inside dais, sort of the upper raised section. And then I had originally thought about embedding the towers inside of the wall and using these unions as the magnetic points to separate. So I was going to, separate the wall once I had it all glued together. I figure assemble it all in one piece and then cut it so that I'd have good joins. Then I changed my idea to having the towers be an outside semicircle, so half the tower, and then I could draw the division right along where the semicircle meets the edge, and then that cut line would follow all the way down the wall right up against the tower, sort of buttress, if you want to call it that, and then it would hide that seam really well. So that was my second plan there before the entire thing collapsed. So round wall out. I don't know how I could do it. Maybe there's some ways using different materials, but I'm not prepared to explore that at the moment, as I'm sort of already falling a little behind on the project. So here's the new thought on it. So instead of going with a round, I'll go with a sort of slightly hexagonal pattern. I haven't, firmly married, to this layout, but I like it quite a bit, actually. And this allows me some advantages, actually, over the previous idea. So for the outer wall, what I can do is by making it in straight sections, then I can create the unions at the corners, or, well, that's the plan at the moment, or possibly hide the union behind the buttresses, and because I want to cut this wall up into sections because it's too big to ship in one piece, and then possibly hide it with the buttresses. So this here represents the large buttress that I've made already, and I realized that after laying it out on the map, I don't need as many as I thought, so I don't have to worry about casting them. I can hand construct them, as there's 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 if I put one under here. I don't think there's room in the front here. If I put towers on the outside of the walls, there's no room with the walkway here to fit more buttresses, so that's kind of a good thing. Other advantages to this kind of a layout is that it'll allow me to score blocks on a flat piece, which I can lay down on the table a lot easier than trying to score a curved surface. I was a little worried about how I was going to do the brickwork on the curved surface. This will simplify that by making it a straight edge. And it makes some of the interior work a lot easier, as like trying to get the stairs to go up the side of the wall. Now I'm going up against a straight edge. Again, that's going to be a lot more simple than trying to have it spiral up alongside a curve. So this may actually save me some work down the long run, and I still think has a great aesthetic appeal visually. I think it's going to work out all right. So really what I'm planning to do then is to carve the circles, cylinders, I should say, right? These are going to come up about 12 inches, and then meld them to the corners here, and then they'll hide, actually, well, what I'd like to do is make those removable with magnets as well, and then that'll hide the join in each of these corners, so from the outside you will not see the seam, especially nice if it doesn't match up perfectly right, as what I plan to do is, cut these at whatever angle this is. I'll have to get my protractor out or whatever and measure that. I can't say. I think it's 45. But in any case, I'll have to cut that, and if there's a little slight error in that, as long as it'll match up on the top and it'll match up magnet-wise, I can hide that seam with these round towers here. I'm still planning on doing a standalone tower raised up, but I'm gonna after my failings on the outer wall, I've decided to not really get too bogged down in some of these external details, internals. Let's get the wall set, let's get that upright and looking right, and then we can go from there. The other nice thing, though, again, because it's a flat surface, detailing over the walkway and the underside here is going to be a bit easier, I think. So I think in the long run, this is maybe a better way to go. It was just a little bit disheartening to put in, a full day's work and have it crumble before your eyes and realize you have to restart. So as a final plan here, so this will be the inner wall, and then the inner wall will descend down some stairs to a small partition. This is going to be a ramp that will come up, and then there'll be a few short stairs to here, and then a few short stairs to the inside raised area with a large central tower that will come up above the entire piece, and then the rock backdrop coming across. On the map here, this is spanning about 40 inches at the moment, so that's the plan for the overall width, which was similar to the previous wall. Actually, this will This is 40 here with a span of about 32 or 35 inches diameter for the actual circular wall section. So similar size. This might actually have a little bit more playing area in it. One of the customer wants to be able to put Mumakil, those large olifant models, within the inside here area. So I need to make sure that this has plenty of space, as that's a large model, especially with the bags that hang off the side of the howdah, or I should say the howdah extends beyond the width of the animal itself. So we have to take that into account. So there's a look at what the proposed plan is, and then areas in here that are sort of trapped behind this tower and trapped behind this stairway. Similar over here where it ramps up and the outer wall is going to be much taller. This will be crumbled rock, like backfill that's crumbled in off the mountainside. So I'll be able to kind of fill that area in, make it look natural, and help to tie in the natural landscape behind it, and in sort of fill in the gaps where they need to be to match up with the interior structure. So this at least gives you a look into the sort of trials and tribulations of a large project like this. It was while no tears were shed when that wall popped, I will say the resounding crack as it shattered was disheartening, and so but I feel good about where I'd like to take the project in the future. So I feel like some of those problems will be averted, and the work will progress a little bit more in a linear fashion, literally and figuratively, with the straight walls. So keep your eye on the channel. Of course, I'll have updates, and if the customer has any modifications to my new proposal, of course, I'll keep you up to date on that. And next time I have a little section of this project done, I'll be giving it to you for review as well. So hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to leave comments or questions down below, and I'll be back soon with another video.